Hey, welcome back to the channel. How are we doing on this beautiful Friday morning in late November? What is the date? The date would be Friday the 21st. Yeah, we're just about, what, 6 days away from Turkey Day, and you all know I got a lot of cooking to do starting next Wednesday, so I think I'm gonna go live, and I'll probably go live about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and just kind of do a cooking show. No, I'll just do cooking, and you can watch me in the kitchen. Turkey will be in the oven. I got 2 turkeys to cook. Oh, gee, look at this. Traffic on my roads. So, yeah. Well, if I can get by this turkey, because I doubt the guy in front of me is going to want to pass. I got to hang back here quite a ways so I can get a good view of what is or isn't coming. Yeah, we're going to have to pass. I don't like passing out on these narrow back roads, but I will. It's that easy. I mean, I don't mind going slow, but I want to go slow at my pace, not their pace. That's too slow. But anyways, yeah, a lot of cooking. I'm gonna go live next Wednesday morning. I'll put out another reminder, I don't know, probably Tuesday, something like that. Slow down for this corner. Oh yeah, you know, retired Harley rider was doing a live stream from his garage yesterday, and I told him I was going to tell a funny story today, so here goes. Well, back in the day when I had my 2003 Road Glide, and well, I drove it home from the dealer. And as I'm driving it home, you know, 88 cubic inch motor, I'm thinking, wow, this thing is lame. Because I just came from sport bikes. I just got off of, you know, a Kawasaki Ninja 1000R, a 1986 model. And I figured, you know, I was getting older. It's probably time to, you know, get a Harley, you know, go cruising with the wife and, you know, take it easy out there. And it was just, I mean, the power was lackluster. I mean, to put it plainly, it was pretty lame. So you got a big bore kit and went to the 95 cubic inch kit, and it was all Screaming Eagle parts. I think it was a Screaming Eagle 528 cam, if I remember correctly, and it had the Screaming Eagle ported and polished heads. It had compression releases. It had I had the updated cam plate put in, you know, with the hydraulic tensioners and everything, and opted to go with the Reinhardt True Duals because that seemed the way to go. Well, the Reinhardt True Duals at the time were very, very loud, and they're probably not any louder today, but they were loud for the simple fact that, well, back then, me and my wife weren't very smart. We used to just wear skid lids. Although I did make my wife wear a legal skid lid where I just had a plastic bowl on my head that was, you know, covered in all kind of crazy stickers. Well, anyways, you know, 5-speed transmission, you're turning a lot of RPMs out on the interstate. And the long and the story short of it is I had to try to find some way to make it quieter without losing all my performance. So I was, you know, kind of asking around, and I mean, I sent Reinhardt Racing at the time probably a dozen emails to see if I could anyway make this thing quieter, because it was making well over 100 horsepower. Well, let me throw in a caveat. I have a dyno sheet, but it got to the point on long trips that I had to really quiet the bike down. So what I ended up doing was I got a stock exhaust system, and I put on a set of Screaming Eagle mufflers. So even then it was still making, I think it was 95 horsepower. I'll drop a picture of that dyno sheet so you can see that I'm not slinging mud at a fan. But with the Reinhardts and tuned, it was making 116 horsepower, and unfortunately I cannot find a picture of that dyno chart anywhere. I just have the one where I kind of detuned it and brought it back to respectable noise levels. Well, anywho, I was trying for months on end, and it seemed like forever and a day, trying to get a way to quiet these down. I mean, the baffles were in there, and I mean, I believe at the Reinhardts at that time you could get 2 sets of baffles, a long set and a short set. I had the long set in there, which were the quieter ones, and Reinhardt Racing never answered any of my emails to see if I could quiet them down. They probably thought it was a parody, I don't know. But anyways, I worked with a guy who did a lot of drag racing. I mean, he did a lot of drag racing up at New England Dragway and up in New Hampshire. Now, he suggested I wrap the baffles in stainless steel. Okay, now, if any of you are following along when I just said that, you know that as kids we used to take stainless steel wool and, wrap it around the end of coat hangers and light it on fire, and you'd have one hell of a sparkler show. Alright? So I go to my local Ace Hardware, and I go in and I buy literally a ton of stainless steel wool. And I go home, I put the bike up on the jack, I pull out the baffles, and I think at the time each bag was like about a 3 pound bag. Well, I used some baling wire, and I wrapped these baffles to the point where I couldn't barely even get them back inside the mufflers. Alright, so I started up. Oh, the thing sounded phenomenal. It had a nice rumble to it at idle. I mean, it still had a good bark at higher RPMs. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I'm like, oh, wife's gonna love this, right? So it's a typical, I think it was a Saturday night, and me and a bunch of the guys, we went out. I lived in Massachusetts at the time, if you didn't know that. Now you know I lived in Massachusetts. So Saturday night, summertime, a bunch of guys wanted to go out, so we went down to the Plymouth, Massachusetts waterfront, and we got some food, and now it's after dark and we're heading home. And I've been riding around for several hours, and I mean, I'm happy with the way these pipes sound wrapped in stainless steel wool. So now, back then I had the name of Animal because of, well, my eating habits. Ooh, bump, that was bad. And the way I rode, I was an extremely aggressive rider. I was a blocker. I mean, I had no problem riding on the wrong side of the road like this guy into a 5-way intersection and just stopping traffic and blocking for club rides and everything. And I mean, I was always, in racing terms, you always get the bike on the pipe. You got it in the higher RPM range. I always had it, ready to box. So, not putting along here, You see, I'm like 2,500 RPM. Nope, I would be closer to 3,000 RPM. That's how I cruised around. I just like, blast it and, have that bark going all the time. So one of the things I did notice was on diesel, the bike was popping a lot out the exhaust. It wasn't annoyingly bad, but it was just occasion if I was, really high up in the RPM range. So we leave Plymouth waterfront. It's probably close to 9 o'clock, 9:30. We're gonna head back and do whatever, find another place to hang out, or just go our merry way. And so as we're making our way over to well, it's not a Route 3 in Massachusetts. Is not an interstate. It's just an expressway. And we're making our way over there, and it's not, at the time, it wasn't a popular on and off ramp location because it was out of the way. There was nothing there really. It was nothing there. Now it's a city, for heaven's sakes. So we made it over there, and it had a nice long, it was a long sweeping, right hand turn to a straightaway right onto the expressway. And when I mean long sweeping, I'm talking you could go 80 to 100 miles an hour along this sweeping turn. So here I am, madman, like to keep the bike on the pipe. I took this turn and I just cracked that throttle wide open. Now mind you, okay, here's another caveat. Well, not so much a caveat, but here's another food for thought, is the Tuna had the red line set at 6,500 RPM, and I would shift that thing all day long at 65 RPM getting on it. So here I am, I'm just winding it out, second gear, red line, third gear, red line, fourth gear, red line. I'm going well over 100 miles an hour, and now the bike is barking just like it barked in the past. It is just monstrously loud, and I'm like, oh, just blew all the packing out. There goes all that stainless steel wool. Well, one of the guys I ride with, finally pulls up beside me when I slow down to a respectable 75, because I was way up there. I was up there by this number over here. That number? I was up by that number over there, and I slowed down to a respectable 75, and he pulls up beside me, and another one pulls up beside me, and they're all giving me the thumbs up and pumping fists and everything else. I had no clue what was going on. I was like, wow, I guess okay. I guess I like the way, I got way up over, 3 digits on the speedometer in that amount of time. Well, little to my knowledge that I know is a little bit of that popping and all that heat I had going into that stainless steel wool in both sides of the exhaust, because it was true dual exhaust, ignited that stainless steel wool when I cracked it. And that stainless steel wool was on fire inside the exhaust. Now at 6,500 RPM, they said there were blue and red flames shooting out of both tailpipes about a foot, and they said it lasted right until I backed off the throttle, at that big digit number here. And they said it was the most amazing thing they saw. Now the next day I went out, after I got home, the next day I went out and I looked, and yep, sure enough, there was no more stainless steel wool in that exhaust. But I can only imagine what that looked like to anybody who saw it. It must have been pretty cool to see all that, blue and, red flame just shooting out the tailpipe because the stainless steel wool ignited in there. I think about it, it's pretty amazing. I wish there was a way I could do it all the time, but yeah. I'm afraid to hurt this motor. Back then I wasn't afraid to break stuff. I mean, I had a full-time job. I had a good paying job. I mean, you know, think about it. I had a brand new a brand new Harley. It didn't even have 500 miles on it, and I had the motor ripped apart and big bore kit. And I'm gonna put I'm gonna drop a picture right now of that dyno sheet after it was detuned with the Screaming Eagle, you know, mufflers. And I believe it was a 528 cam. It says on the dyno sheet what it was. Yeah, it says on the dyno sheet what it was. But yeah, it was good stuff back in the day. And it's glorious. I mean, come on, it's 74 degrees. What did I say it was? The 21st of November. Come on. How does it get any better than this? I don't think it can. You know? I mean, living a life. I mean, I don't have a lot of money. I can't buy a lot of things. But, you know, money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy friends. I'm good with that. I mean, I'm happy. I'm content. You know? Yeah, but I am going to make a request to my viewing audience out there, and this is something I need and I want. No, I really don't need it. I mean, I could suffer through, but if anybody has a touring seat like off of an Ultra Classic, you know, or a Tri-Glide, or you know, touring seat like off of one of those bikes, the plushy ones, the Harley Davidson touring seats. If you would be willing to pay it forward to me, that would be nice. I mean, I can pay shipping. Like I said in a previous video, I do not expect things for free. But I mean, I'll admit it, I'm broke. You know, I am broke. I mean, no two ways about it. I mean, and I want to go to Maine next year to see my brother. He's sick. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to you know, divulge too much of what's going on with him, but he has some health issues, and I'd like to see him next year. He bought a new motorcycle, Kawasaki Vulcan, real nice bike, from what I read and pictures I've seen. Real nice bike, and I'm happy for him that he got one. And I want to do some riding with him before he can't. So that would be that. So if anybody could pay it forward with a Harley Davidson touring seat, I mean, I broke down, you know, about 5,000 or 6,000 miles. Well, it's more than 5,000 or 6,000 miles ago. It's about closer to 8,000 miles. I broke down, and eBay had a special on CC Rider seats, and I got it pretty dirt cheap. I mean, it was less than 200 bucks, a lot less than 200 bucks, and you know, it was great for 1,000 miles, and then every ride it got a little harder, and now it's just absolutely wretched. It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, to the point where I have a well, I tried putting one of those air bladders on it, Air Hawk I think it is, but Chinese version from eBay. I tried putting one of those on it, and no matter where I set the air pressure, I was just squirming all over the place, and that was terrible, to be honest with you. And I had I have an actual butt buffer that I bought when I had my other bike, my Can-Am Spider. Don't let me get started on that thing. Yeah, I had a butt buffer on that bike, and you know, it's a big fat gel pad, and it works good, but nothing makes up for a comfortable seat. And that's what I'm using right now. I have the gel butt buffer on, and it's okay. I mean, I can go 4 hours, I can go 5 hours, but by the time I'm done, oh, I'm in agony. And if I'm going to go to May next year, I need something that's going to be good for, you know, as the song says, 16 hours. I've been riding 16 hours. That's what I need. I need something I can do 16 hours. And I've sat on stock seats in the past from Ultra Classics and Tri-Glides, and yeah, I could manage 16 hours in one of those. So if anybody has one out there in my viewership, you know how to contact me through YouTube. You go into the About section, and you scroll down in the About section, and you can grab my email address, or you can follow the link to either my Instagram or my Facebook page, and you can DM me right there. That would be good, you know. So that would be good. And I would deeply appreciate it. Like I said, I don't expect anything for free. I can pay shipping. You know, if you're within, I don't know, if you're within 150, 160 miles of Manatee County, Florida, I could come pick it up. I even leave you with a seat. I'd even leave you with the seat that's on here. I'll put the Street Glide seat on. I'll leave you with a factory Street Glide seat. These things ain't very comfortable. Oh, by the way, how about a big thumbs up? Did we do that? Did we do the thumbs up? I should do a canned thumbs up, and that way I can just insert it, because I always forget to ask about, you know, like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. I always forget to do that. Stupid me. Yeah, if anybody's wondering, this is State Road 72, otherwise known as Clock Road. This runs all the way from, what is it? Yeah. I can't think of the island. Hey, it's the one south of Longboat Key. Not Sanibel. Can't think of it. Yeah, brain fart, because I don't use it. Now this one runs all the way to the Gulf, and it goes all the way and ends in Arcadia. Oh, that's that. Not a very long road. And we're going to be going into DeSoto County, one of about 5 counties I'm going to hit today on my ride. Anyways, that was my funny story about wrapping my baffles in stainless steel wool and having them ignite, getting on the highway in Massachusetts in the dark, putting on a nice show. That was fun. So yeah, why don't you hang out and we'll see what kind of shenanigans I can get into, okay? Why don't you hang out a bit and see what I come up with. Alright. Stand by.